fucked up. Okay, we'll just start again. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Career Savage. Today I'm kicking it off with a new segment called Career Wind Downs with my friend, Brooke Lefton.
Hey guys!
Today we're going to be talking about her internships, how she helped kickstart a business, and how she paved her way in the fashion industry as a personal shopper. Stay tuned and watch the entire video. What did you major in? Actually, I really should know this. I don't know why I don't. But.
Definitely should. Retail and consumer sciences.
And what made you decide retail and consumer sciences?
I always wanted to be in the fashion industry. I was always very good at organizing, choosing clothes, and University of Arizona had an exceptional program that I wanted to be a part of.
So I know you're from LA. Why Arizona?
Well, my sister went there, visited her, loved it, and then I realized that there's only a couple schools that had a really phenomenal program that combined business and retail without having to be FITM or just a strictly fashion school where you didn't get the college experience. And this gave me everything I wanted.
Do you feel like your school is able to really help you figure out what direction you wanted to go in retail?
So my program was designed to get people jobs. So that was another reason. I was really goal oriented at I want to graduate college with getting a job in something I love, and they were huge on you get an internship, paid preferably, and then after that internship you get a job offer and you work there, or you find out what you don't like about this and you choose something different without having to leave college unknown.
And I think that's really important, and I always tell like all my clients, all the people who watch my videos, that it's really, really important to make sure that when you're in college you get that internship so that you're able to really pave your way after college. It's a lot easier, the transition is a lot simpler. So what internship did you end up doing that allowed you to get the job? Like who did you work for?
So I worked for Ross Dress for Less, and
Dress for
Ross Dress for Less. And I was not about it. I wanted something cool and glamorous.
Because you're bougie.
I'm bougie. And I wanted something that had a better name for itself, but in reality, the off-price world, there's a lot of money to be had, and it's thriving more than other retailers because they're off-price.
Right.
And I got an internship there. I did rounds and rounds of interviews, and then I interned there an entire summer living in LA. I was able to stay at home. And then most internships, if they're corporate like mine was, offer you a job or they don't when you're a senior.
Right, okay.
And so when I was a senior, a couple months in to my senior year, I got a job offer. And I accepted because it was in LA and it fit all the buckets money-wise and all that. And I had already done the internship, and I was at that point in my life always going after things I was like super comfortable with.
Do you feel like it's a blessing and a curse to go after things that you're super comfortable with? Because I always tell people that it's so important to go beyond fear, to test your limits, because on the opposite side of fear, or on the opposite side of testing yourself, there's so much opportunity. So do you agree with that?
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like more risk, more reward is 1000%. So I took a completely safe job, which was the absolute right thing to do. It was great money, tons of corporate experience, which I feel like every person out of college needs to know. It's really hard to go into sales or something where you're an independent contractor because you have no structure and you're like 21 years old. Doesn't make sense. So I got tons of structure and tons of exposure and experience to the corporate world for almost 3 years. And I wouldn't have traded it for anything. It just wasn't really my ideal for the rest of my life.
Okay. So how long did you stay at Ross?
I was there for 2 years, 9 months.
That's a long, that's a long time. Wait, that's longer than I thought.
So long.
I'm surprised.
I felt like I was 50 years old.
Wait, why did you feel that way? Was it a good like work-life balance?
Zero work-life balance. I think when you're young, you should be grinding, and you definitely should be working much harder than your parents in their 50s because they've already had to be in their 20s, and they should be at a point where they are passing those responsibilities on to others. But I would come home at night so stressed to the point like I felt like I was feeding 5 kids. And that's the stress level I had, and I thought and saw that it was only getting more and more stressful, and I didn't see the reward in that.
Okay. So bouncing back a little to like why you chose your industry, do you feel like the fashion industry, especially in LA, is like super saturated with a bunch of stylists and a bunch of personal shoppers? Like how are you paving your way in such a heavily saturated environment?
Yeah, no, that's like so valid. Everyone you meet, everyone's like, yeah, I'm a stylist,
yeah,
or I'm this, or I'm in fashion.
I'm a stylist.
Yeah, I think that when I was at Ross, I was super proud. Like I would say I was more proud there in that moment because I was super young and I had an extremely good job that was corporate and all that, but as I grew out of that, I went to a company called Trunk Club where they do strictly styling.
I remember that.
Nordstrom bought them for $350 million. So I was there when they were kind of getting out of startup phase and Nordstrom was fully taking over. So I joined at a time where I was like, I'm a part of something bigger that's changing. And I wanted to get away from corporate and I wanted to be really like brand. I wanted to be with the consumers. I loved buying because I loved all the people that I bought from and the relationships I built. And I want to be on the side of like, I'm trying to sell these things to make you feel good. And all that kind of stuff. And then they became super corporate. So I was trying to always escape corporate because I just felt as if there was more out there for me. I always wanted to be someone that was involved in something smaller but had a bigger role in something small instead of a small person in a big company. And that was kind of what I was trying to get to without knowing how to get there or what that end goal was going to be.
So how was Trunk Club for you?
It was great. I was a top stylist. I did really, really well. I made tons of friends. It was a really cool experience that I was not used to. You created your own schedule. As hard as you worked, that's what you got out of. So it was a completely different job. It was sales, and I was on the side of people selling to me before. So I now am the kind of well-rounded person that's rare that has sales and buying under their belt, where most people have one or the other. So I've completely seen both sides of the spectrum, and I appreciated sales more because I was in buying. And I could understand a consumer's brain.
And I think you make a good point. I feel like I always tell people that it's really important to immersify yourself in different sectors of your industry. Like she was saying that she understands what it feels like to have people selling to her and what it feels like to sell to people. So that makes her a well-rounded person within the fashion industry. So for all those watching this video, you really need to get experience, put your hands in the pot in all different types of areas within your industry so that you're able to understand the entire realm of what you really want to do.
And when you're super young, if you can get experience in a couple different things, then when you're interviewing for other jobs, you're more confident because you can understand
what's going on.
You can understand every spectrum, and you're a little bit more of a unicorn in the sense that you understand at least in my industry, I understand the consumer's mind and the buyer's mind. So whether side of the spectrum I'm on, I get it.
So what did your parents have to say about you wanting to be a buyer and like enter the fashion industry? Because it's not like doctor, lawyer, like dentist,
So my parents always supported. They were so stoked that I got an internship. They were about me being the cookie cutter internship, got the job, made the salary, living on my own. They don't support me. So into that. And it was my passion as well, so they couldn't be happier. But when I started dwindling away from conservative and doing corporate with a trajectory of you're an assistant buyer 1, then a buyer 2, then you're an associate, they at least my dad, who's more on the conservative side, freaked the fuck out. And then when I went into Trunk Club, it was sales, and he's from sales. He's from medical and computer sales. So he's like, oh my God, bro, this is the hardest job ever, but you'll crush it. So I was crushing it, and then when I left to help start a company, it was like, I can't even talk to you. I don't even know how you're leaving a paying job.
So talk about that. For me personally, and I think for anybody, to just leave from like a guaranteed salary, guaranteed thing, to go and want to start, help someone start a business is so courageous, and I'm so proud of you for that. Like, it's honestly, it's really, really hard. Like, for me, I don't know at this moment in my life if I could be able to do that. So like, speak to that and talk about how, you know, that journey for you and helping someone start their business.
Yeah, so I met the woman I work with now, Bree, at Trunk Club, our last job, and she's
networking.
Yeah, networking is the biggest deal in the world. Everyone do it. But I met her, and she is one of the smartest, most outrageous. She is a CEO. You meet that woman and you're like, she's a CEO.
Yeah.
Plain and simple, this girl needs to be running her own thing. And a year and a half before she started the company, I told her we were getting lunch, and I was like, whatever you do in life, I'm coming with you. And then like 6 months down the road, she's like, I really think I'm gonna start something. And I'm like, I'm coming. I don't really care what it is. I'm unhappy. Like, I'm already fulfilled. I've hit my peak. And when I hit my peak, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I need to keep, whatever you do in a job, you always need to make sure that you're either asking your boss or superiors for more work and more things to do, or you need to get out and find a place where you have growth.
Step out of your comfort zone. I keep telling you, people.
It's true, or else you're gonna hate your job, resent everything.
Suffer.
And then you won't mentally grow. When you aren't mentally growing and you're stuck, you just stop performing. So I just gave up because I didn't care anymore. There's no reason to care because I know where to go in my job. They literally had no growth opportunity. Like, I had capped. The more you could do is sell more, make more.
Yeah,
that's not enough for my brain to actually be working.
Yeah.
I could sell in my sleep, and I don't want to do that. So
hey girl.
It's ridiculous. So then Bree started this company. I was kind of at that breaking point, and so was she, and we saw that there is this gap in the industry of people being extremely busy and needing help. And there's tons of stylists that are celebrity stylists, which are most stylists that everyone relates to. Like, oh, what show are you shopping for? What person are you shopping for?
Yeah.
Whatnot. And it has to do with like stature and celebrity, or a television show or a movie. And what we did at Trunk Club is shop for everyday people. And what we saw that there was a gap in is like, no, like CEOs, executives, like the famous people of the business world need help more than anyone, because they have families, they are so crazy busy, they're running a company, they're setting the tone, and they outsource interior designers, they outsource any single thing that comes their way, they outsource because they don't have the time to do it except do what they know what to do. So we were like, we need to be that company that those kind of people outsource.
Yeah.
So I loved the idea, I loved the brand, I trusted her, and I basically was like, anything you do, you're not gonna fuck up because your name is on it. And like, I believe in you so much that I'm gonna just do it.
Yeah.
And I quit my job the day before she did.
Dude.
And then she quit her job, and I took 3 days off, and that was it.
Dude, this is what I call passion. No, it's really what I call passion.
And I'm obsessed with what I do. Legitimately so obsessed.
You're happy, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the craziest thing ever. Like, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. I went from a solidified
salary every day to you're unsure.
You literally don't make money unless you do X, Y, and Z. And now I'm literally in July becoming a full-on employee after 1 year, and gonna help her start multiple companies after this. Like, it's completely changed my world. But I saw a vision. No one can think like right now.
Yeah, you have to think forward.
Future,
you gotta think
which I tell
forward.
you even. You have to think future. Everyone has to.
I know, you really have to have forward thinking, especially when it comes to your career. Like, I can't speak this enough that you really have to cross that line between fear and being comfortable. Because people who are okay with being okay will be okay for the rest of their lives. But people who are comfortable with facing fear, with challenging themselves, those are the people who are extremely successful. Those are the people who you go on to hear about on Forbes or like Fortune 500. This is someone you guys should look out for. Brooke Lefton. You saw her first on Career Savage. To be honest, because I think it's really commendable that you could go from making that salary to just, you know, believing in, you know, somebody else's passion, someone else's vision. And that's solely off of the fact that you're passionate about fashion. So, you know, what is one thing that you would recommend to millennials? People who are in college, as well as people who are in high school.
I would say the absolute number one thing I would recommend is thinking about your 5-year plan rather than your tomorrow plan.
Well, I just want to thank Brooke for coming on Career Savage. And you know, I think it's really commendable what she's doing, and I always love people who believe in their passions, who believe in their dreams, and people who are willing to take that risk and just go for it. And if you're not comfortable, because there are a lot of people who aren't, I wasn't at first, you can always check my website, www.careersavage.com, or you can email me at kyyah@careersavage.com. Check out my Instagram page at Career Savage. I will also put all of Brooke's Instagram information down below. Anyone watching this who's looking for a personal shopper, she's your gal. Like Brooke said, it's always good to be a forward thinker and to think in the future, but sometimes that can be scary. But at Career Savage, we really help you solidify your plans. We help you solidify your goals. We help you feel a little bit less scared in taking that leap of faith. Continue to watch all of our YouTube videos at Career Savage, and see you guys next time. Cheers.